Hey guys, welcome back or to the channel. This is 83 Garage. Actually, this is my laundry room. That's what I woke up to this morning. This is also the hot water line, so I'm presuming there's no hot water left. That's 220, that's 110. You don't want those to connect. 1367 or 2384. That's what I have. That's what will break. Kind of like that, even though it's like twice as expensive. I'll go with these. Twice as expensive, but cheap insurance for your house to make sure you don't have any water damage. If you're not as lucky as I am, where there's a drain right below me, you may have some serious water damage. And then you have to make that a call to the insurance company, and nobody wants to do that. That is the consensus. Basically, disconnect electrical power supply and service washing machine, turn off water supply to washing machine, and disconnect old hoses. Connect new hoses with new washers, making sure that circuit connections are tightened at both ends. Turn on water, check for leaks. That's it. We not only have our fittings, but our drain is right close by, so not a lot of issues. It's a good thing our laundry room is not finished. Unplug your washer. Another thing to do is to turn these on and off once a year. That way they don't block up, because when I went to turn this one off, I could barely get it started and are moving. Now, she's free. So take your plumber's wrench and loosen that up. Wow, that was loose. Do the same for your cold side. Again, that was loose. A good way to pull your washer out is to grab it from the bottom if you have that ability, and just pull back. It's very easy. Pull your washer out from the back. This was kinked like that. That's not good. All this is soaked, so this has have to be ripped out and replaced. I'm pretty sure this has happened before to the previous owner, because this has all been cut out. I never did this, but this is all fine. This hose was fine, but this one was kinked. Weird, because they both go to the same area. When you get your hoses, I went with the Cadillacs. Make sure they have washers. Mine both do. Sometimes your hoses will look like they don't have washers, but really, the washer is still on a tap. Make sure you don't double seal. Yeah. Don't reuse your rubber washers. For the 3 cents that these actually cost, you can just see that it's a little bit deformed over time. Don't reuse them. You'll see the new washer has little earlets compared to them, and that's actually a little bit thicker too, obviously from compression. Keep these earlets, that's called what I call them, because when you stick it in, they actually stay into place. I'm not a plumber, but there's 2 sides to this washer, and you want to put the flat side on the valve, and then the crush zone, which has all the ribs, on the female side of the hose, and then connect it up. That way they seat properly. Hand tighten your braided hose to the valve, and make sure that the hot side goes to the hot side. Then tighten it up a little bit with your plumber's wrench. Do not over tighten, otherwise you could damage the washer machine hose. Do the same for the cold side, and make sure you know which side is to which. Sometimes labeling them will make all the difference. I didn't do that in this case because I know what they are, but I might in the future actually get some red tape and tape red for the hot side, blue for the cold side. Removing the hoses from the washer. You'll notice here that one of the hoses has a little bit of blue on it, and the other hose has a little bit of red on it. That's to show you that this is the cold side, that's the hot side. On the washer itself, and I will point this out soon, there'll be embossed an H and a C, obviously for hot and cold. There'll also be washers on this side of the hose as well. Make sure that you check to see if they're still there, because they could be stuck, or they could have gone into the washer, causing a blockage later on. You may not notice it right away, but there could be a blockage there. This is the hot side, this is the cold side. H meaning hot, C meaning cold. Don't mix them up. Make sure your hoses can move freely, so we will have to play with this one a bit more. Get it into position, and then the red there is for hot, and this is the hot one, the hot connector. We'll tighten it by hand, and then this side, and we'll check to see if there's the rubber washer there, and this one doesn't have it. Now it has a rubber washer. So after watching that video, I realized that that rubber washer was facing the wrong way. So we're gonna pull the washer out and change that, fix it. As you just saw in the video, the washer was pulled out from the wall, but I'm gonna pull out a bit more. Anybody can do this. Use your body weight and just hold on to this, and that's it. Now to remove the cold side. That washer. Not that tight. It's just easy to get started with the Plumber's wrench. And see, just like the video just showed you. So to get that out, you just usually just use your nail. I'm gonna use 2 hands to do this, and you can probably do it with one. There we go. And then we want to put the smooth side in the hose. Sorry, that's wrong. We want to put the embossed side of it, the ribs, into the hose, because that's the crush zone for the washer. And then that goes on to the cold side again for the washer machine. Make sure you don't kink your lines. Tighten it by hand as far as you can go, and then give it a couple turns with the plumber's clamp just to seat it nicely. Turn everything back on. You get the normal water leak from the valves. I turned them both off because I went and checked these guys to make sure, and checked this guy, and then I showed you this guy. And now to put it back in, grab here, put your knees to the front. There you go. And you want to make sure your line's not bent, which is probably how that 90 got done there. Give it a nice room. You can plug it a little bit further. I'm slipping because of the water, and that's it. Obviously, when I finish this, I won't have that much room. And now back to our video. There'll be some repetition. Sorry about that, guys. And now to tighten them up. After you've connected the washer machine hoses, turn them on, make sure there's no leaks. A little bit of water coming out of the valve, that's kind of typical, especially with the older ones. Now for the hot side, a little bit of water, but not leaking. You can hear the sound of that too. And then this one, sounds much smoother, right? Yeah, this valve isn't good. Oh, you heard that too. So, check your valves often, guys. One of the problems I had with this today, other than the leak, obviously, is I wasn't able actually to turn off the hot water, which is where the leak was. Cold water turned off just fine. And I always tell my customers to turn your valves off and then on again once a year, maybe every 6 months. I do that with my main water. That way, if there's ever a problem, and there was in the past, you're able to turn off the water to the house and not have to worry about a stuck valve or a seized valve. Again, not leaking and not leaking, so we're good. And none of these are kinked, so we'll just push everything back into place, plug it back in. Put in the washer back in, grab from the top, and I push my knees against the washer, and I just push it in, just like so. Just like that. Easy peasy. So again, when you put your washer machine back into place, make sure your lines are not kinked. These ones have enough room. The waste hose has enough room around the back, not impeded. And a lot of times people will actually run zip ties and or some sort of clamp device so this does not pop out during the washing cycle. So my laundry room needs some serious attention. Upgrading your lines to the braided will give you a bit more time, and they will give you that little bit of insurance. Yeah, it cost me $50 today to replace them, but I could have spent the $13 each, so $26 for these guys, and they're just rubber, so they can kink, they can break. At least with the braided lines, you have that little bit more protection. So if they do end up kinking or breaking, well, they're less susceptible to kinking, and they're more wearable for friction and anything like that. Anyways, good little upgrade, extra piece of insurance. It's best not to cheap out, especially when it comes to your house. That could be worth a couple $100,000 in comparison to a few extra bucks for the stainless steel braided lines. Also, before I go, my house is in a complete mess. I'm in the middle of renovating, and I'll show you right now what the biggest problems are when you're renovating in a small space. I could not get to this, but this is what happens when you're renovating. You put the stuff into place so you can actually work in the other area. Going forward, this will be cleaned up today, I hope, and we'll actually be able to get down here properly and safely. But that all being said, this one is done. We're good to go. Glad I caught it. On a normal basis, you could be away from your house from 8 to 12 hours, and that could be 8 to 12 hours of water running down your drain. I got lucky because I have a drain right where I am, as you guys saw earlier with the wetness. But anybody else could have a serious problem, especially if you have an apartment and there's people living below you. I've had to do some fixes because of that kind of damage. So, y'all be safe. Hope you found this video informative, even though my house is deplorable. Take care, be safe, have fun. Peace. Apparently, and I just looked it up now, you should replace your washer machine lines every 3 years. I've always been told every 5 years by plumbers, and Google says 3. I guess that's better for insurance purposes, and that way you don't have to ever have an issue like what I just had. Just looking out for you guys. Here's the article. Well, here's the search results. Like many things, I think this should be more brought into the open. That way we don't have accidents. So that being said, hope we all learned something today. And I should be checking my valves more often. Not just the ones that go from the outside to the inside, so that they don't freeze. And speaking of which, it is winter right now, and I should be turning off the outside water. So please like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.